Well, hello everybody. It is that time again. We are here for the Ground Up series. We have another person we're going to interview, our first interview of 2024. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. My name is C and my channel is CLM Custom Designs on Etsy as well as YouTube, and it's all things crafting. And of course, every 2 weeks we get to interview a brand new entrepreneur. So if you are listening to this segment on BeamPod and you'd actually like to see it, jump on over to my YouTube channel so you can see it, and vice versa. If you're on YouTube and you need to just listen in the car, whatever, jump on Podbean and you can actually listen to it there. So now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, well, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That's always number one on the agenda too. But let's jump right into it with our guest because he's got a lot going on and we don't want to miss anything. DJ, introduce yourself and tell the people what all you do.
My name's DJ Slaughter. I am a Georgia realtor, content creator, business owner. My wife and I, we own Three Bears Cookie Company. It's a business we just launched. We specialized in, get this, smoked cookies.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that. We're gonna have to
Yes,
talk about that.
smoked cookies.
Smoked cookies.
Photography. We do real estate photography. Um, it's going back to the content creation. We have a YouTube channel. It's kind of on hiatus right now, but it's Eat, Explore More. And you guys heard of Keith Lee? You know, he's been popular. Well, I want to say that we were probably the first Keith Lee before, long before he blew up. But we went around and we interviewed restaurants, did restaurant reviews. We also did hiking spots on that channel. At first, it was just a Georgia-based YouTube channel, and then we were going to do other channels and do like a Florida, Tennessee, everything like that. But then we were like, why do multiple channels when we can just do one? So it's on hiatus right now because we have a 2-year-old, and
That'll do it every time.
yeah, so she has to get her hiking legs up first, and we got to teach her restaurant etiquette, and so that way she can be I don't know, maybe the main talent. So that way we're not,
Gotcha.
we'll just we'll be behind the scenes and we'll have her be on camera because she looks way better than the both of us.
I'm sure she'll get you lots and lots of subscribers. So you named a lot. So tell me, how does one get into so many things?
I since I was a teenager, I've just had an entrepreneurial spirit. I've my email address is the same email address I've had since high school, and it's DCH Empire, and that was kind of like the first business idea I had, and it was supposed to be a big umbrella company with like an airline, comic book company, all kinds of weird stuff. So, I have a whole bunch of ideas in my head, and I just want to pursue that as businesses. So, real estate, I came into it because I was a buyer and a seller at one point in time, way before we got into real estate. And we, just didn't have a lot of that guidance. So I got into it because I wanted to be um, a source for first time buyers and sellers, somebody who, people can lean on because, in this business, and not to throw my fellow realtors under the bus, but, some people are just in it for the check. But I really genuinely want to help buyers make the right decisions, make the right calls, and so I got into it for that. YouTube, ever since I've been, man, probably since I was a kid, I've always loved video. So out of the blue, I'm like, you know what? Let's do a YouTube channel, and I'm like, nobody really talks about Georgia, so. I'm like, let's do a YouTube channel for Georgia. My wife and I, we did that. We bought all the equipment, and we wanted to make it kind of like cinematic, especially with our hiking videos and stuff like that. So, when we started off, I watched a lot of different content creators who, did stuff like that, and that's kind of been my passion. Video, I love doing video.
Okay.
Photography. It's funny that came before real estate. Um, So we got into photography because my wife's cousin, she was like, "Well, you have all this equipment from your YouTube channel. Why don't you just go out here and go to realtors and take pictures for them?" I'm like, why didn't I think of that? So we started that off in 2019, and the funny thing was, a lot of my clients for our photography business, they were like, "You know what? You have a personality of a realtor. You should be a realtor." I'm like, I can't sell you bubble gum. So like, I, I don't want to get into real estate. But then a couple more clients kept saying that, and so I'm like, let me just think about it. And I saw the opportunity out there on Indeed, and I'm like, well, I thought back on my experience. I'm like, you know what, people do need help, and so I got into it. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have multiple businesses, and
Gotcha.
you know that and a 2 year old.
And
So
it's you. So I have to tell you a really funny story, right? So when you reached out to me about wanting to be interviewed, and I seen DJ Slaughter, I don't know why, but automatically I was like, "Oh, he's a DJ. I've never had a DJ on. This is gonna be cool." But then after I started reading, I was like, "I think his name is DJ. He's not a DJ."
yeah,
And so I looked into it. I was like, "See, that's why you don't assume." So I'm like, out of all the things you named was none of the things that I thought you did initially. So I thought that was really funny. I'm like, "Oh, his name is really DJ."
no,
So I laugh about that from the time that I booked you till now. It's hilarious. So let me ask you this: did any of your business come while you were single, or were all of these after marriage businesses?
definitely after marriage. All
Okay.
of it came after marriage.
Okay.
After moving back to Georgia, because my wife and I, we lived in Florida for a little while,
Okay.
and we did have one business down in Florida. We had a window cleaning business, and a funny story about that. We started it. The same cousin I just told you about, she's also a window cleaner. Halo Window Cleaning. Look them up. Excellent company. She helped us with that, and we were down in Florida trying to get business. And this is a lesson in perseverance.
Okay.
So we were down in Florida for 2 years, and we started a business like our first year in marriage. So like we got to 2014, we got no business, nothing, and we were like, we're just going to pack up and move to Georgia, and kind of just put the window cleaning business on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we moved back to Georgia, my wife's phone kept ringing. Are you DNS window cleaning? Every to this day, she still get those calls,
Wow.
and that was like back. That was literally 10 years ago.
Wow.
So, if you have a business idea, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Just keep it going. But all this came after we were married. We, always wanted to do something together. So,
Okay. Okay. So you basically just wanted to see what you could do, right? Not necessarily had a passion for anything. You said the first thing that came was the YouTube thing, right?
Mhm.
So you started with the YouTube thing, which makes sense because there's money to be made on YouTube, and YouTube has a genre for everybody, right? It doesn't matter what you do. There's a spot on YouTube for you, right? Somebody will watch you. So you invest in all this equipment, and you start doing YouTube, and you're going out and you're traveling or whatever. And then all of a sudden you say, I have this equipment. What else can I do with it? Right. So
Mhm.
I talk about this all the time on my channel. You have to look and see how you can leverage what you have for something else, because with any businesses, it's going to be peaks and flows, right? Peaks and valleys. If this is not making money over here, how else can I make money over there? So
Yeah.
I love the fact that someone introduced you and said, "Hey, why don't you try to do this?" Because it makes sense, right? So, is your photography limited to doing this for realtors?
Yes, we generally don't like doing weddings and stuff like that because with a house they don't get upset if you take the wrong picture. um, but yeah, it's strictly real estate. Um, we may venture into like automobiles and of course Airbnbs, which that's kind of under the same umbrella. But for
Right.
now, it's just real estate.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. Of course, you see the pictures posted online all the time, and obviously someone has to take it, but you never really think about like that being a business, right?
Mhm.
So I love that you do that. So okay, we have the YouTube and we have the photography. So how long are you going to be on hiatus from your YouTube?
I want to give my little girl probably one more year
Okay.
before we start back up because I really want to delve more into the hiking aspect of our channel.
Okay, because that's
Um,
your
yeah, and kind of I even want to explore like redoing some videos because when we first started off, we had not so good equipment, and those videos they didn't look as good as the stuff we did later on. So we might kind of redo some things, kind of reintroduce ourselves. So we're thinking probably another year.
yeah. Well, you could throw her on your back too, and hike with her on your back.
That's true. And we actually did do a video July of 2023, and she was in the video. So it may be one of those things where we just do a one-off and it won't be consistent until we get to that point where we'll be back to being consistent.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I do know how a child can throw all kind of monkey wrenches in the well. Because you now have to be on their schedule versus them being on your schedule. So yeah, she will definitely dictate what gets done and what does not get done. But I'm assuming you're still doing your photography.
Yep, got a job to do tomorrow actually.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. And so let's talk about this cookie thing because that I see how you went from YouTube to photography to taking pictures, right? And I guess I can see how you parlayed that into being a realtor because that's where you are. But I'm not quite sure how the cookie thing comes in. So tell us about that.
Well, I'm a naturally weird and creative person. So and who happens to love barbecuing. So I just
Okay.
love barbecuing stuff, and I'm like, what is something that doesn't normally get smoked? And I'm like, pizza. I can see myself smoking pizza one day. And this wasn't a business idea at first. I'm like, what's something else that hasn't been smoked? And I'm like, cookies. And then it just a light bulb went off. I'm like, smoked cookies.
Okay.
Nobody's doing that. And I'm like, this may sound crazy. And I told my wife about it. I'm like, this may sound crazy, but let's try smoked cookies. And there's people on YouTube, they have recipes, but there's no business out there for
Okay.
smoked cookies. So um I'm like, okay, it's wide open. So we looked at those recipes and we tried it for ourselves, and it blew us away. I'm like, we got something here. This is going to be good. So yeah, we jumped into smoked cookies that in that way. And of course, doing the food reviews for our YouTube channel. We kind of rub elbows with a lot of restaurant owners and stuff like that. Like a big video that we have on our channel is Big Dave's. Um, Being from Maryland, how far are you guys from Pittsburgh?
Oh, we're a good little ways. We're about maybe 2 hours, hour and a half. Yeah.
So you guys are very familiar with cheesesteaks, but down here
But
in
we wouldn't do that in Pittsburgh. We would get a cheesesteak from Philly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Philly, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's this gentleman from Philly, Big Dave's. He's big guy now. He was our biggest video. When we were doing the video at the time, he was running out of a gas station. So, we kind of rub elbows with these people, and we see like kind of their daily lives. We see their faces light up whenever we're interviewing them about their products and stuff like that. So we've always in our mind wanted to do something with food. We just didn't know what. And when this idea came to me about cookies, I'm like, that's it. That's it. It's simple. It's something,
Is it simple though, smoking a cookie?
it is easier than you think. And I'm not going to tell you my secret.
Well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And then I will say, but is there a market for smoked cookies? Apparently so.
um,
Or
Not
are you
yet.
creating the market?
We're creating the market.
Okay.
It's we got to, educate people.
Okay.
I guess when people think of smoked cookies, they probably think it tastes burnt, but no, far from it. Like it definitely enhances the sweetness of the cookie.
Okay. So how long has the cookie business been around?
We started that in late October.
Oh, so real new, infancy stages.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So you're just kind of, is it already out there or are you still in formulation?
Oh, it's out there. We have a website, 3bearscookie.com. Three to number three, bearscookie.com. Um, we ship nationwide. Um, we have a company called Chef. They deliver to your door. They're kind of like Uber, but that's only for the local Dawsonville area,
Sure, sure.
Atlanta area. And we have local pickup in Dawsonville. Um, Anybody in Atlanta, we can, if you order online, do pickup, we can figure out where we can meet. But yeah, we're trying to get it off the ground, and whenever as soon as we say, yeah, we have smoked cookies, it's the same look like, oh, smoked cookies, what's that? So
Yeah.
it's
Well, it
interesting.
definitely is going to pique somebody's interest when you say it because it's something A that we've never heard of, and B, then you have to start thinking, can you smoke a cookie? It brings up all these things, and then you naturally want to taste it.
Hmm.
As I do as I'm sitting here. And of course, it's not like you can slide a sample across the table. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check out your website and see. So are there flavors? Are there different kind? Is it like a whole thing?
Yeah, so we have chocolate chip, we have double chocolate chip, we have red velvet, we have white chocolate macadamia, and s'mores. S'mores, I will say we're still working on that one a little bit more. And we're
Well,
going
now
to
I would think s'mores would be the easiest because I'm expecting that to taste like fire.
um marshmallows are temperamental. I will put it that way. So
Got it.
we're trying to figure out if we want to go fully vegan with the marshmallows.
Now
Um,
that was my next question. What do you have vegan? Because that's where I'm at, and I know Insomnia Cookies. Every place has like one vegan cookie, right, or one vegan ice cream. It's not like drives me nuts. So that was going to be where I was going at. You said Three Bears cookies,
yeah, 3bearscookie.com. It's 3bearscookieco.com.
cookieco.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, somebody just asked me, well, somebody, meaning my husband, which I knew he would be in the chat inquiring about the cookies right
Yes, yes.
away.
Um, Vegan, yes. Every flavor, there's a vegan version.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Every flavor.
Every flavor has a vegan version. And
Okay.
we're working on sugar that should be coming out in the next couple weeks. So it's a lot,
Okay. Do you do it all yourself, like from home?
No, we do it out of a commercial kitchen in Norcross.
Okay.
Norcross.
But you're cooking. You guys are
Yep.
making. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm thinking if that blows up, everything else might be going to the side.
Well, I definitely want to, as far as real estate, like the photography business, we can put that on hold, or expand it and have somebody else take
Right.
pictures for us. But real estate, I definitely want to, that is definitely, I want that to be my bread and butter because I really want to educate people when it comes to
Right.
buying a
Okay.
home. But
So that's the love. Everything else
yeah,
kind of is falling under that. But it sounds like it's competing now with the cookies.
yeah,
So
yeah, it is. And the good thing is, it's all about scheduling. You
for
know, we
sure.
Yeah, for now, because we're so small with the cookie business, we just go on Saturday afternoons to the kitchen. We make a big batch, and then we get ready to sell them. And of course, once that gets bigger, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that amongst these four businesses that you have, these are your full-time jobs. I'm assuming you don't go to a 9 to 5 somewhere.
I do actually have a 9 to 5.
Oh my goodness. You might be the hardest working man I know. Good grief.
Yeah, yeah.
And dad on top of that, huh?
Yep, and a dad. So, the one thing that I hear a lot, and I truly believe this, is having multiple streams of income.
Well, that's true.
Financial hardships we had back in 2014 and in 2019. I don't put all my eggs in one basket because, something can go wrong and you're in a bad situation. So I believe in having multiple streams of income and just whatever you do, just be good at it and just, go at it 110%.
Absolutely. Listen, I am not mad at that. I definitely agree with multiple streams of income. I'm going to have to figure out how to do all them streams you do because I'm tired just listening to you do all of that. And the thing is, what you do is physical, right? So taking pictures is a physical job. Being a realtor, maybe not quite as physical, but it requires walking. It might be, you know what I mean? So, and cooking, you know what I mean? It's not like you're sitting at a desk or whatever. So yeah, you doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That is a whole lot. So okay, we only dealing with a limited amount of time, right? So we got to focus in on some of these. And so since you said realtor was your baby, that's what we're going to focus in on
Mm-hmm.
now. Everybody has the website threebearscookieco.com. So you'll have to go there. You'll have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go there and buy something, just drop it and say you heard it on CLM Custom Designs from the ground up, and just
Yeah.
let everybody know you were listening to us and you were where you heard it from, Matt, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that would be cool. So aside from that, now the realtor thing, you happened to stumble into the realtor thing, but then when you got into it, how was it that you decided that you wanted to approach it from an educational piece versus just selling?
Like you mentioned before, it's the experience we had before I became a realtor. I just felt like the people I was working with, they were just looking for a check,
Mm.
and we ended up in some ugly situations. We bought a lemon, a money
Oh,
pit.
a money pit, huh?
Yes, and then when we turned around and sold it, we didn't get as much as we could have, and
Yeah,
that came from just the lack of education. So I want to be the opposite of that. Like, the checks will come if you show people the right way of doing things, and especially now, like the way people feel about realtors right now, it's not pretty right now, and
right.
the economy is kind of ugly. So you want to build those relationships, build that trust with people to show them that, hey, whatever you need, if it takes us 5 years to get you that house or sell your house, I'm here for you. So that's my mission, because buying and selling a home, it's not like buying and selling a car. There's a lot of moving parts. I mean, too many moving parts, and you will get blindsided. One little mistake, you could be out thousands of dollars. So that's where I come in and make sure that everybody's making the right decision. You
Gotcha. So how long does it take to get a realtor's license?
it depends on if you do it online or um, in person. Me, it didn't take long because I was doing my job while listening to my courses. So you have to get 75 hours pre-license, and that's when you go and take the test. And then you have to do a 25-hour course, and you take another test, and then there's more education after that. But that happens kind of on a, you know,
Years basis.
yeah. Mhm.
Gotcha. So are you in commercial, in residential, both? Which way?
Mostly residential, and I definitely target first-time home buyers.
Okay.
Going back to the education thing, but um, yes, I do. As far as residential, I do everything.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, and I know back when we were buying homes, there was a whole lot of programs like first time buyer programs and things like that. Doesn't seem to be quite as many out there as it used to be, or they're not at least maybe as beneficial as they used to be. I know my kids were looking at buying homes and we went through a lot of it. Of course, the market is just not good. Sellers are just asking for ridiculous amounts of things for properties that aren't worth it.
Mhm.
So yeah, there is a lot now in particular versus maybe back when we were buying our homes that
Mhm.
you have to contend with that you didn't have to contend with
Mhm.
kind of before. And I found too, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like then the realtors were older, so they had been
Mhm.
in their business for a really long time and they were really knowledgeable. But now it just looks like these kids that
Yeah,
really sure if they even know what they're talking about. So yeah, it's scary. I wouldn't want to be out here looking for a house right now. I have to tell you.
it's a challenge, and I do believe, and not a lot of realtors say this. Only the ones who care about other people will say this, but I do believe we need a correction. We
Mm,
definitely need a housing correction. Not necessarily a crash. We just need housing prices to come down to affordable
yeah,
level, because there's so many young people who just flat out cannot buy a home. and then on top of that, having to pay these high rents. I mean, it's not fair. Everything's stacked against people, and some people, some realtors, they want to sell, 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 and make it seem like it's normal. I'm like, well, yeah, as far as the economics, supply and demand, yeah, it's normal in that aspect. But if you ask the everyday person, do they feel like it's fair? Just take our area for example. A starter home, you're looking at least 350,000 in my area.
Mm.
That's a starter home, and if you want something less than that, you're looking at a mobile home, which isn't bad, but sometimes these are flips, and just throwing in some nice stuff,
Makeup, putting on the makeup.
yeah, putting on the makeup, and it's you don't know what you're getting. Of course, get an inspection. Always get an inspection. Do not waive an inspection.
Yeah.
But you just don't know what you're getting into, and it's just not fair for the average person, the young couple who just got married or the young family, and unless you're making that money. And one thing I like to tell people is buy if you absolutely are ready, because if you're buying because you feel like you need to buy because I'm such and such age, or whatever the case may be, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So
Mm.
you know that's just my message. Just buy whenever you're ready, and just know that if you go with me as your realtor, I'm going to be in your corner. I'm going to fight for you.
Got you. So, are you licensed outside of the state of Georgia, or is that
Just Georgia. Hmm.
just Georgia? Okay, okay. So, do you think there are some good first-time buyer programs that are still out there for people?
Especially in Georgia. And
Oh,
you know what? I talk about a lot of those on my TikTok account.
okay.
Georgia has a lot of first time home buyer programs, and it's on a county by county basis. One I can think of off the top of my head is the Georgia Dream program, where they will help pay for your down payment. That's
Wow,
a good,
nice.
yeah, that's a good program. I know there's a few counties that have that. Some counties, they're kind of stingy with their down payment program. I'm like, you can't help anybody with that. But there are a lot of programs out there, and that's the other thing. When you're going to buy a home, don't just look for a good realtor, but shop around when it comes to find a good mortgage person,
Yeah.
because I know mortgage people who will give you not only a good mortgage with a down payment assistance, but they'll give you like um, a lot less interest than these bigger mortgage companies. So
Okay.
just there's a lot of programs out there. You just got to find them. You got to go with somebody.
Who knows about the
Listen,
program?
yeah,
So, if you're looking to buy a house, maybe you might be looking to relocate.
yeah.
And from what I hear, Georgia's a good place to relocate.
Oh
There's
yeah.
a lot of programs that are out there, and so hey, sometimes if that's what you really want, right? Sometimes you do have to look elsewhere because like I know in this area, you're not going to get any of those things that you've talked about.
Mhm.
So yeah, it may require that. So that's good to know. Maybe people looking to relocate or to do something different. So to know that Georgia's one of the good states that has those programs, that is definitely good to know. So you said find a good agent that is aware, search for a good mortgage company, perhaps a smaller one, because it may have more perks than some of those bigger ones. All good things to know. Make sure that you get an inspection,
Mhm.
all the wonderful things. So advertising, right? So that's one of those jobs where you have to kind of advertise for yourself.
Yeah.
So what do TikTok you mentioned? What else?
TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, just social media. And,
Excuse me.
a lot of people still, a lot of older agents, they do cold calling. I don't do cold calling
Okay.
because, going back to when I was a seller, as soon as my house was pulled off the market for a second because we were switching realtors, we got a whole bunch of calls. And I'm like, so I'm putting myself in, the seller's shoes. I'm like, I'm not going to bother these people. So I just put my business, yeah, I put my business out there as far as, social media and TikTok and stuff like that.
Okay.
Very educational.
Got you. So is it still room for people to come into real estate? Sometimes it's we talk about markets being saturated, and I know that They say that about everything, actually. But do you think that there's room for young, up and coming, real estate? Is that something that you would say, hey, if you're a young person and you're looking into creating something for yourself, this may be the way to go?
Only if you want to. You have to figure out what's your why. If you're doing it just to make money, you might make that money for a little while, but do you want to do it for the long haul? There's this ups and downs. So if this is something you really want to do, you know, come with me for a day and just see what all I have to deal with. And if after that you still want to do it, then yes, there's plenty of opportunity.
Okay. Okay. Kind of like, I think a lot of businesses, people might look at them and think, oh, yeah, I'll jump into that. But they only see kind of the front window. There's a
Hmm.
whole lot of stuff behind the glass that has to be done, from, training and licensing and, all that type of things that you need to get into. So would you say that it's a huge startup cost to get into the realtor business? Or would you say the biggest thing of it is networking and making connections?
It's definitely a big startup cost, and it definitely depends on what broker you go with. I am very fortunate to be with a broker who's very, easy when it comes to our realtor dues. But that's the other thing. There's a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. If you're a realtor, you got to pay a lot of money a year. So there's a lot of investment that goes into this. So
No?
definitely have money saved up. Do like how I'm doing. Have a full time job until you're ready to get into real estate full time. So that way, your full time job is paying for that advertising, uh, gas, maintenance, and realtor dues. So there's definitely a lot of money up front and while being a realtor.
Okay, all good things to consider, which I think is important, because a lot of times when you hear about businesses, people talk about all the wonderful things about businesses. Oh, I'm making this kind of money. I have these connections. I'm traveling. I'm doing this. But people don't necessarily talk about the opposite side of that, the cost that may go into it, the long days. In your case, you are commission based.
Hmm.
So you only make money if you sell a house. You know what I mean? So all those things. And I think that is one thing I like to emphasize on this channel, because I want people who are thinking about going into businesses, especially young people, because I feel like that's kind of the target market that I'm hoping are listening to these interviews, because you know a lot of you want to get a lot of young people into businesses. It's not just that typing and construction thing like when we were growing up, right? But they have a lot of opportunities. But I want them to realize that there are pros and there are cons. There are good days and there are bad days. Like,
Hmm.
understand it's just not all roses,
Hmm.
when it comes to these businesses. So you got to look at everything in its totality to make a decision. And I love that you say, come spend the day with me. You know what I mean? Any business that I think you're going into, you might want to find somebody
Hmm.
who you can hang out with for a day, some type of mentor,
Yeah.
so that they can kind of show you. Let's see, McFirebug is saying, are those tax write-offs? I'm assuming he means the advertising maybe that you do, or your dues that you pay to your broker, maybe.
Yes. Get if you're getting into real estate, get the QuickBooks employee or employer app. Let me see. I got it on my phone actually. I can tell you the exact app.
Okay.
Self-employed app.
Okay.
Self-employed app. Get that app. What I do is like it tracks your mileage. So every time you're driving, it automatically tracks your mileage. Um, if you connect your bank account, it tracks your transactions. You can swipe as personal or business. So that's the easiest way to separate your expenses. It's definitely tax write off. This year alone, I've spent $11,000 in advertising. So I am definitely looking forward to that tax return.
Yes, that will be nice. Absolutely. So, yeah. But we also have to look at, you got to make money too, because I think they like say after 3 years, if you're not kind of offsetting that a little bit, it's not really a business. It's more of a hobby.
Mm,
My tax person keeps telling me, like, we need to start seeing where you're making profits, not just
mm,
showing all these losses, right?
mm,
For years and years and years, because that does determine when it becomes a business,
mm.
versus just a hobby. So, all those things that you have to look at. So I guess, so how long have you been doing your realtor business?
I'm actually coming up on my fourth year come April.
Okay.
Yeah, it flew right on by.
4 years.
Feel like I
Okay.
got my license yesterday.
So is that 4 years with every business then pretty much except for the cookie business?
Um, but yeah, about 4 years with the photography business, about 5, 6 with YouTube. So yeah, average 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you say you use a lot of social media for your advertising for your business, and that's the one thing because what did that look like during COVID? Trying to sell houses with distance and staying at home and all the things.
So I got my license September 2020, and I got in probably a little bit too late. Um, I didn't experience the craziness. Of course, 2021 was also crazy. But yeah, no, it was insane. Um, and 2022 had a little bit of that too. I'll never forget. I didn't really get my first client until 2022, and guy found me on Instagram from Miami, and he was like, "I need to buy a house, like, and we want to buy ASAP." So it was
Mhm.
crazy like that, and
Okay.
he emailed his pre-approval letter like that same day. I'm like, oh, he's ready to go. And that's the one thing. I mean, you may not have to do that now, but of course, have your pre-approval ready. But yeah, back in the heat of the pandemic, if you didn't have your pre-approval letter, yeah, no, you might as well just sit this one out because you have to be ready.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, okay. So you say you might have gotten a little too late, huh? You might have missed a big boom.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once those interest rates dropped, I mean, it hit the fan, and yeah, I got it a little too late.
Well, that's okay. You're riding the wave. Well, like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
So, and as a result, like you said, you have multiple streams of income to cover when
Hmm.
you have those downtimes. So that's kind of nice because what it also does is it prevents you from having to hire people to take pictures for your properties, right? You
Hmm.
can do that yourself. So, instead of outsourcing that, that's something that, that keeps your costs down because you can take those pictures and post them and do all the things that you need to do yourself versus, you know, um, having to hire somebody else to do that. I also interviewed someone else who actually stages homes like that. That's supposedly a good business too, to like stage homes.
Yes.
So yeah, so there's just so many aspects of one business. People may not think about how they can, touch on other aspects of that same business, like you said, to fall kind of under that umbrella.
Mhm.
So are you done or do you see yourself maybe add more business? Because you said you're this creative mind that thinks of all these weird things. Is there
Well,
something else we should be expecting from DJ?
I I've been trying to get a babysitting app off the ground for a while.
Oh.
Um, that one's going to take a while. That's going to take a while because it costs a lot to get somebody to develop an app. This is supposed to be the Uber for babysitters, so you know um, we'll wait on that one though.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll wait on that. I did daycare for 7 years, so I'd like to see how that kind of turns out. So you're sending them to the babies, or they picking up the babies and taking them to daycare?
Um, they're going to the babies. So basically, and there's other companies that basically do this already. Who can I think of off the top of my care.com?
Oh,
Basically, I need a babysitter this day, or I need one right now.
yeah.
And they go to the parent's house, and
Yeah.
of course, there's an interview process before you just bring a stranger in your house. And
For sure. I mean, and they have the apps for the elderly, sort of like that, and not comparing them, but they have them for dog sitting and animals like that. And I think that that's probably the way of the future because sometimes people need something right now. Emergencies happen, and
Mhm.
people want you in their space versus having to take their kid or elderly person to a unfamiliar area. So yeah, I get it, and I can see the wheels never stop turning. So, and that's good. Most entrepreneurs are always thinking about the next thing, or what can they add to their portfolio or anything else. So it doesn't surprise me. Makes
Hmm.
it, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you're thinking about, adding more and more to that. So if you could think back when you got started and say, I wish I would have done this differently. Can you think of anything that you, okay, so give them a little nugget as to what they shouldn't do
Oh man,
or do differently.
this is something I think about all the time, and I need to, keep telling myself, don't look back in the past. Just look forward to. First of all, I got a few nuggets. First of all, don't waste
Okay.
your 20s.
Then what?
Don't waste your 20s. Do not waste your 20s. If you have a passion, especially if it's something that you've been doing since high school, figure out a way to get into that. And in this day and age of social media, there's no excuse. If you're into audio engineering, make an audio engineering YouTube channel or just put yourself out there. If you're into video, don't, sit here and beg people to, work with them. Make your own video. Find ways to market yourself, and then the people will come. I wish I would have done that before getting married, or either right after getting married. Um, you know, I wish I would, yeah, I just wish I would have done this sooner. So if you have a passion, jump on it. Figure out a way to, do research and figure out how you can create your own lane for whatever passion that is. When it came to real estate photography, how I said, man, why didn't I think of that? We have the camera equipment. So if you have the equipment already, don't let it collect dust. Take your pictures, take your video. If you know how to cook, these commercial kitchens are $250 a month. Go
Hmm.
create the next best thing. And if you're young, do it sooner than later, because you're gonna hit 30 and 20 is gonna go. The 20's gonna go by like that, and you're gonna be like,
Where did the time go?
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. And I also have found out, and me and my husband do this sometimes. We think about some of the ideas that we had when we were younger, and now somebody else is doing them. It's like, that could have been me. Like,
Can't tell you how many times that's happened. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
And with this cookie business, that's something I was, telling my wife about. We kind of, had a heated discussion about it. She was like, "You sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yes," because somebody else is going to do it, and I'm going to be mad. So, like, if you
Yeah.
have an idea, figure out a way to get that idea out there. Don't
Yes.
just let it happen, because somebody else is going to do it.
And
Some,
nothing beats a failure but a try. So,
yeah.
at least you'll be able to say, I tried it and it didn't work. But the worst thing is to have that knowing what if. I should have. You know what I mean? So I definitely, and in your 20s, I say this too. That's the time to do it. You're probably still at home. You probably are not in a lot of debt. You may not
Mhm.
have any kids. So now that's the time when you want to start exploring some things, because by the time you're 30, you need to have had it figured out. Like, you need to have a
Yes.
direction in your life. But you get a little forgiveness or a little grace in your 20s to kind of fool around with some things. So yeah, I definitely would have to agree with you with that. And, like I said, find somebody who can mentor you, who can, being surrounded about people who will tell you, yes, you can do it, but then also might need to tell you, you can't do it that way. Right.
Mhm.
So you need to have some good people around you.
Mhm.
To do it. My husband is saying 250 a month for those commercial kitchens. Remember, he's in Georgia. I don't think in Maryland you're going to get it for 250, but
Yeah.
maybe not too far off the mark. But I don't think it'll be 250. But I
Mhm.
guess it's something worth looking into, to see how much they are in your area, whatever area that may be. And definitely, like you said, using social media. That was one of the scariest things for me. I
Mhm.
was like, I don't want to do social media. I don't want to be on social media. It's something else to learn. It's a headache. It's a lot and it's too much. But I
Mhm.
have definitely seen the value,
Mhm.
um, in using it for business anyway. So that's the one thing I will always say came out good of COVID, right? It gave us access to people that we didn't have access before. It almost forced us to use social media to some degree, right? To get a little literate with it and figure out how to use it. So I definitely say that that was a bonus, and that's something that everybody should be utilizing, because I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of money that you can make for, I don't know, eating, for showing people how you brush your teeth. I mean, whatever it is, it's just really, it sounds stupid, but it is really just that stupid.
Yeah, it's
So,
true. It's true. And if you have a talent, you know, don't let it go to waste. Like you said, there's money to be made out there. People think in this day and age you got to do something outlandish to get out there. You don't. Just find something you're good at, find something you love, and just share it with everybody.
yeah. And that's the thing, if you love it, because if you love it, it doesn't seem hard. And you'll want to do it even on the days when it is hard. You'll still want to do it, and you'll still persevere. Like you said, I mean, who knows? Had you pushed a little bit harder, you might be the king of Windows right now, right?
Yes, yes.
You just never know.
Mm,
And the thing with businesses, you have to give it time, because there are people who blow up overnight. I will not say that there aren't, but for most of us, it takes some time. So
yes.
you got to ride that wave, and entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. Like you said, when it came to that particular, your particular business, it's not for everyone. Some people need to know that they have a steady paycheck coming in every week, that they're going to work, and that's okay too.
Mm,
You know, before you get into it, though, you're right. You need to make sure that it is what you want to do,
mhm.
because there are some rough days.
It's I'm you mentioned something about debt. That's the other thing. Definitely want to avoid,
Mhm.
especially if you're trying to get into entrepreneurship, because debt, if used improperly, will kill your entrepreneurial spirit, and that will get you to the point where you feel like you need that steady income. But if you live simply, use debt to your advantage, only spend money on what you need, the non-steady paycheck won't be as bad, especially if um, you have a good product or a good service.
Yeah.
People are going to come to you, and eventually, not having a steady paycheck is not going to be an issue. So yes, like I said, it's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but if you have an idea and you have the patience and the drive, get out there and do it. You don't want to be 30s, 40s and be like, man, why didn't I do that?
Absolutely, because then it's too late. You will have to go to work, and
Hmm.
for all those things that you need. If you wait till you're in your 40s or 50s, it can be a little rough. So yeah.
Hmm.
So is there any parting words you want to leave with the people? Anything that we else need to know about you? You know, besides, even though I did this interview about all these things, this cookie is sitting right here. I cannot get that cookie
Yeah,
in my head. So I will be going to your website as soon as I get.
yeah. So you know what? And you know what's crazy? I need to figure out the actual name of my website, because like my social media, the social media for Three Bears Cookie is Three Bears Cookie Co. And the website, so it's, I don't know if you can see it, it's
Yeah, right there.
threebearscookie.com.
Oh, no co. Okay.
So, so,
threebearscookie.com.
so if you see, that's supposed to be our little girl Sasha, and then that's me and her mom.
Yep. I figured that's what the three bears were. Yep.
Mhm. So
Absolutely. Okay.
threebearscookiecompany.com, or you can simply just search on Google. Trust me, you'll find us on
Okay.
Three Bears Cookie Company.
They
Um,
look good, that's for sure.
yes, we have very good packaging as well. So it
Well,
tastes good. I mean, give it a shot. Of
why
course, I'm
not?
biased because I made it, and
Maybe slightly biased, but it's okay. You should be.
let me tell you, when you eat it, it's going to put you're never going to want to eat regular cookie ever again.
And I'm not a big cookie person,
Hmm.
but I like birthday cake for whatever reason. That's like my jam. I love that flavor. So whenever I can find a good birthday cake cookie, I'm all in. I'm here for it.
All right, now next year we might work on that one.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Okay, so tell the people where they can find you. You talked about your website for the cookies. Where will they find you at for all your other businesses?
So for my real estate business, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, DJ Slaughter or DJ Slaughter 808. If you see the same picture that was used for the thumbnail, you found the right person. Three Bears Cookie Company on Instagram is Three Bears Cookie Co. That's on Instagram, that's on Facebook, that's on TikTok. And the website again, Three Bears Cookie. That's three, the number three, bearscookie.com. Southern Property Videography Services, that is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. That's our photography business. And then there's Eat, Explore More, that is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But we're thinking about getting rid of Twitter. Twitter's been crazy lately.
So basically, you're everywhere. DJ Slaughter, just put it in. He's going to pop up everywhere because it sounds like he's everywhere. We have his number scrolling across the bottom. So that's another way that you guys can get him for any of his businesses on his phone number. And listen, I am never upset when I find a hardworking person that is trying to diversify, because I think that's the name of the game. Diversify, diversify. So you heard it here today. This is diversifying at its finest and still thinking how we can continue to do that even more so. So I absolutely love that. Can't wait to see what else you're going to be doing, because I know it's going to be some big things, some great things for you. Mm-hmm. So again, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out DJ's things on all his social media platforms. His YouTube is in hiatus, but soon it will be back up and running. But go check out, if you haven't checked out some of his older videos. See what he was doing, right? So you'll be ready and all caught up when he starts his channel back up again. So for sure. Thanks for hanging out with us in the chat, guys. I truly appreciate it. I am going to end this now. And DJ, if you can just hang on a second, I'd appreciate it.
All right. It's been a pleasure.